Now that we have a unit plan and we've designed assessment evidence that we feel is evidence of that curriculum, now we need to make sure, in general, faculty commit to a process for evaluating their curriculum. How can we tell if our unit plans are good, high quality, if they're actually giving us the best possible experience? Heidi Hayes Jacobs goes back to the root of the word curriculum. If we go back to Rome, right outside about 100 yards from the Colosseum, there's the first curricula, right? And it's a race course, which is why in curriculum we have courses, funny enough. The root of the word means a course run in a series of small steps. And so if we take that to heart and we say, we want to make sure that the decisions we are making individually is actually a course worth running, an experience worth having for our learners so that they learn what they need to learn and we haven't wasted or lost any time. So going back to our unit plans is a vital part of the process, and it's the heart of the curriculum mapping process. It's conversations about our craft. One of the most effective ways to do that I experienced with Dr. Benna Kalick, Karen Bailey, and Dr. Debbie Sullivan, and it was unpacking student work. When we unpack student work, we want to actually look at evidence. We want to look at an essay a child wrote. We want to look at the posters they made for their presentation. We might want to look at the bench that they actually brought into the room. And we review it, not to evaluate the child's work, but to evaluate the curriculum that brought it there. So, in what ways does this essay actually meet the content and skills we said it would? In what ways and how effectively does this essay that the child wrote reflect the thinking of the essential question or the why? And finally, in what way does this essay that the child wrote actually have the purpose of the standards and the language of the standards? So I'm reminded of what Ann Johnson brought to the table when she said color code right from the standard through the essential question, content and skills, and then finally right down to the student work. Here it is, and let's annotate it or color code it. That kind of clarity when I unpack student work to my unit plan allows me to reflect and say, you know what, this unit plan could have been better. That skill was not phrased correctly. It said list, but I actually had the child compare and contrast. So let me go back into my unit plan and change it from list to compare and contrast because this was effective. Similarly, I might look at a sample of student work and unpack it by going back to the assignment and saying, were the directions exactly what I wanted it to be? Did my rubric actually have the knowledge targets and the reasoning targets and the performance of the skill targets? Or was it just one of the boxes, leaving out some of the other valuable pieces I was looking for? Or maybe it had too many. Often, when I look back at the actual assignment, teachers will say, oh, well, now that I'm looking at the standards, with a little tweak to the directions, this evidence could have actually been evidence of more than one or two standards. I could have bundled them in a collection and had this one assessment event actually give me far more effective data toward the actual curriculum or standards I was working with. And so that's a prime time to go back and make an adjustment to an assignment for effectiveness, to save and maximize learning time, and to make sure the students are crystal clear on what the target and purpose is. Sometimes assignments are written to get the child engaged. It doesn't effectively reveal the target that we wanted the learner to focus on meeting. And when we have that kind of misalignment between the assignment and the actual student work evidence we were looking for or that we wanted to evaluate or give feedback on, it can be very frustrating to the learners and frustrating to the faculty. So this process or protocol of unpacking student work is a way to be iterative about our unit plans and about the quality of our assignment design.